Many of the older nurses might tell you that they had a lifelong dream to become a nurse. I was finally able to pursue that dream when my children grew up. It was been in my heart, I think, since I was 5 years old.
Not only did she take care of us, which was a full-time job in itself, or more than a full-time job, but she would also be very mothering to all of our friends. She just cared so much about everybody.
When she told me she wanted to become a nurse, I figured, from all the experience of the 10 kids, she's already been a nurse for, 20, 25 years, whatever it is. I figured that she didn't even have to go back to school.
It seemed like a natural progression. If she was going to pursue a career, that nursing would be that career. She just took to it.
It always just seemed fitting. And it's kind of fun to be studying for finals when your mom's studying for finals. She'd make us all dinner, clear the plates, and then she'd go in the other room with her cup of tea and her jelly beans and just be studying away, and it was really sweet.
As it turns out, this is her 10th year of nursing. What you see is what you get. There's no phoniness whatsoever. And she has patience. You need that as a mother. And then at work, it's not always easy. The job can be a challenge.
She is so kind and so patient with every interaction that I have ever seen her do. She sits on the bed with the patients, she holds their hands, she talks to them about everything, and she takes as much time as she can with every patient. She's phenomenal.
There's no one like her. She's the epitome of compassion.
If there's a compassion award, she's probably a pretty good candidate for it.
The other nurses will say to me, Mary, do you ever yell at your kids? And I say, no, I never yell at my kids. I like to approach everybody being very gentle and very kind, and I feel that when you do that, it comes back to you and people respond to you. If you work from your heart, everything works out okay.
The reason I got into nursing, one was I was in the restaurant industry for a long time and I didn't want to be 65 years old making cocktails for people. And then secondly, my stepfather has a really bad form of cancer, and as he was going through treatment, I kind of saw the profound effect that the nurses had on him. And I hoped to have an effect on someone like they had on him.
Jeremy is a great team player. He's fun, he's interesting, he has a million hobbies. As a team player, he's always willing to help out other nurses. The thing I really, really appreciate about Jeremy is his honesty, his straightforwardness, his clarity when looking at problems.
Every case here, you have to build trust with the people. They've all been robbed and beat up and lied to and kind of run through the system and wrung out, and every one of them is on guard.
They want just the same things we all want. They want to be cared for, they want to be listened to, they want to love, they want to be loved, they want to feel needed. It's really important that they have somebody who really understands them. I think Jeremy is very compassionate with his patients. He's very empathetic, he's a good listener, he advocates for the patients. He's an excellent nurse.
We all kind of take for granted that we have a home to go to, something as simple as a clean bathroom or the ability to take a shower and keep a wound clean, or a couch to sit on to keep our leg that we broke up, and knowing that you can help somebody who doesn't have that. When they appreciate it, you feel appreciated. And there's a lot of jobs where you just don't get that satisfaction, and I like that a lot.
I've been working as a nurse since 1972. Came to Boston right after I graduated because I wanted to work at MassGeneral. That was my dream job. For me, it's easier to work with children than adults. I've always found the kids so entertaining. They say and do the craziest things. They're so resilient and are just so honest. I first met James and his family in the fall of 2014, and he was to receive his first round of chemotherapy. Their whole world was just turned upside down. There was a lot of anger, a lot of stress. Young 17-year-old macho, handsome boy with long brown hair, very charismatic, very warm, but also very stressed and angry. I think working in pediatrics, you don't deal just with the patient. It's always the family unit. You develop a relationship with them all. And I think with James in particular, it was quite a family. For Christina, as a mother, she had a very difficult time seeing her oldest boy go through something so traumatic and emotionally upsetting for him. His chemo was so long, and by the middle of the therapy, he was ready to pull the portacath needle and go home. But we did it. We did it. James did it. The most fulfilling part of my job is being able to see that you've made a difference. With James, I knew we had developed a relationship where he trusted me. That meant everything.
I actually hired Nick. He was a new grad when he came. He is just fabulous. His smile is infectious. He easily moves kids to just love him. He loves to play, plays the work of children, and so he really fulfills that.
The kids here receive amazing care. The teams are great. The nurses really care about the patients. It's just a fun environment to work in. I met Alicia at Franciscan Hospital for Children.
She suffered a really, really rare brain tumor that does not have a good prognosis.
The first day I had it was awesome. Mom had concerns. We got to the bottom of it. It was in the middle of the night. Mom was awake all night. I think it started off a really good relationship between me and the family and Alicia.
Alicia was a princess from the word go. Nick was the only prince I think around, but she just adored him.
It was really a team effort with the entire nursing staff. It wasn't just like one person that made a huge impact. I think it was a whole group of people, but I had her a lot. We just kind of built up that bond.
When she first came to us, she essentially was nonverbal. Eventually she regained some of them, and one thing she loved was singing. Nick, he loves singing. Her favorite song is that Frozen song, the Let It Go. That was a big one for them.
She held out for a very long time, longer than I think most people would have expected.
And she declined really, really quickly. Mom especially, who stayed here all the time, had made a deep connection with all the staff. She let us know that it wasn't going to be much longer, and that if people wanted to visit, it was important that they visit now. Nick arrived later in the day, and there were lots of people in the room. He kind of slipped in the room very quietly and went up to her bedside and started to sing the song. She did have the use of one hand much more strongly than the other, and she would wave her hand when she sang, and so she would wave, and she did open her eyes, and she had, while he was there and singing the Frozen song.
It's the little things, I think, that really make it worth it. It's like a collection of all the small things that the kids give back to you that make it what it is.
Nursing is not all the alarms and the bells and the whistles. It's the connections with the patients. We may not be able to save everybody, but the quality of life that we are able to help people with goes beyond words.